Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Year of the Batman, and today's episode is Batman the Killing Joke. So, I really wanted to, I guess, end the Batman animated series ish on a high note. I know it's technically not in the universe, but it is Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, and probably one of my favorite roles yet, excluding like the video games because they do such great work in those. But I'm gonna separate this review into three parts. So the stuff that wasn't in the Killing Joke book, the memories, and like the actual main meat and potatoes Killing Joke. So I'll start with the memories first. It's basically a backstory of Joker and how he came to be, and he was this failing comedian with an expected wife on the way, and he was just struggling to make ends meet because he just wasn't performing well with his material, and he gets really, really down desperate. So he goes to some gangsters for some help, and they say they'll recruit him, but he has to wear a Red Hood outfit and be a distraction because they're going to rob a, I believe it's like a power plant that he used to work at because he used to be a lab assistant, but he didn't like that, so that's why he went into comedy. So he agrees, and the plan is he'll like lead them through as like the Red Hood because apparently like the Red Hood's like this pretty big figurehead in Gotham at that time. Um, but then like the night before the crime, his wife and soon to be baby, well, I actually I'm not gonna touch that. Pregnant wife died. So the Joker, well, he's not the Joker yet. He is like, what's even the point? I don't really care about anything anymore. This was all for her and the baby, so I'm out. And they're like, no, you're not. We'll kill you if you're out. So he gets dragged along with it because there was a gas leak and explosion that killed them. They said it was like a 1 in a million chance, and he just so happened to be that unlucky. So it's the night of the crime. He's dressed as the Red Hood. They're in the factory, but then there's security that stop them, which he didn't know that there was security at the time uh, when he worked there. So since now and then security was updated, so the guards kill the two other gentlemen that he was with, and they're about to kill Joker, but then Batman comes in, and he everybody knows this point. He chases him. Joker falls into the acid. Boom, turns into the Joker. Um, that's probably my favorite of his origins. In all honesty, I know a lot of people don't like him having an origin or like it to be the 3-in-1 combo where you don't really know and he doesn't really know. That's a fun one too. But I like just he was a normal guy and he had pretty much the worst day of his life, and that's plus the chemicals which turned him into a Joker. That's me personally, but that's fine. So that's one part down. Now the other part, I know it gets a lot of people. This is the most controversial part of the Killing Joke. So this one, it's more so set up to build up Batman and Batgirl's relationship. And honestly, there is one single thing I would tweak. Excuse me, little tickle in the throat. So uh, there's this guy named Paris Franz, and he's leading this gang, and they're doing this bank heist, and he's pulling a semi truck with like an armored car, I maybe from a bank or something. He's towing that, but then lo and behold, Batman comes along in the Batmobile, and then Batgirl lands on top of the truck, trying to get them. So he dumps the truck, like the part that's the pickup, so Batman can deal with him. So now it's just the driver, him, and then Batgirl. And Batgirl, she's on the side of the window, about to get him, but he like blows her a kiss and then kicks her out, and then he and the driver escape. Bam, just like that. So that's the end of that. Then you find out Fran Francesco, he's like the uncle of Paris, and he's like, "Hey, you cost me, I think it was something like $100 million or something with that deal. So you better get it one way or another." So, um, oh god, yes, yeah. So later that evening, or maybe a few days later, Paris is going to an old vault that the uncle does own, and he's stealing from his uncle to pay for his uncle. So he's like, "Ah, this guy's pretty fucking stupid, and he's old, so I think we'll be fine." And then Batgirl shows up, despite Batman saying, "Hey, wait for me, this guy's dangerous." So she takes out the thugs pretty quickly, but then when it gets to him fighting, he's like getting in her head, and he's actually a pretty good fighter. Um, and then it comes to a point where he like sprays her with like some kind of like knockout gas, and he's like, "Oh well, you can't get to the door." But then she like smartly locks herself into the bank vault, so he can't do anything. Um, so the cops show up, and Batman shows up, and she's fine. It was kind of creepy though, because like when he knocked her out, he says something along the lines of like, "I'm gonna get like a good night kiss" or something. Really, really just gross stuff. So Batman, he's telling her about the guy, and he's like, his name's Paris Franz. He's got a narcissistic, sociopathic tendencies. I really don't want you associating yourself with him. And Batgirl's kind of pissed. She's like, I deal with way more dangerous stuff all the time. I don't see what's the problem. And I'm thinking, well, Batgirl, the problem is he kind of kicked your ass, and he made very inappropriate comments to you. So I think Batman's just trying to do you a solid. Um, so then Batman, he like kicks her off the case and say she can't handle it, and she's getting really pissed, and it's this this scene, this is the part that like really gets me. Um, so Batman, he's like telling her, oh, no, wait, yes. So Batman, he tells her to stay out of it and whatnot, and then later, the uncle Francesco, he like puts a hit out on his nephew for because he found out he stole from him. So the hit goes unsuccessful. He kills some of his guards, but like um, Paris and one guy survive, and they send a video to police headquarters to deliver to Batgirl, which I really hate that like Batman showed this to her, because he's like, "Hey, don't check out where this Paris guy's going," but he's like, "But watch this video with Paris," and it's saying his next move. So Paris says, "Hey, meet me at goodness gracious, where we first met." So Batman, he asks Batgirl about that, and she says, "Oh, we first met at the one vault," but it turns out where they actually first met was on the truck. So Batman goes to the vault, and Batgirl goes to the truck, and she finds a gift wrapped cell phone, which is a video call to Paris. So he leads her to the next clue, he calls it, and it's basically to his uncle who he killed. So Batgirl, she gets found out by the remainder of his bodyguards, the uncle's, Francesco's bodyguards, and she's fighting him. And then Batman comes along, and he gets all the rest. And he's pissed at this point. He's like, "I gave you a direct order not to pursue this. You almost got yourself killed." He's getting in your head because Paris is getting like, "Oh, Batgirl, you're so hot," and whatnot. And at one point, he like has sex with a hooker and makes her wear like a cutout mask to look like Batgirl. So I mean, this guy's got it down bad for her. And Batman, he's like, "Listen, this is something I'm not comfortable putting you through, so you're off the case. That's that." And then it gets to like the really controversial. They have a fight, and then they have sex, and I hate that they did that. I hate it. I'm gonna get more into why I hate it and how they could have fixed it, but it just felt so unearned in all honesty. And I hate Batman, Batgirl, like just I hate that dynamic because he's more of a father figure to her than a lover. Ugh, just like it gives me so creepy crawly from it. So so they have sex and it's been a few days and goodness, I do apologize. I might be coming down with something, but bear with me. So Batman, he's been ignoring her, he hasn't been like calling her or anything, so she finally has enough with this, so she calls him and he tells her, which I don't know why he told her this. He's like, I'm pursuing Paris right now because he went into hiding after he took over his uncle's organization. So Batman, he finally got a clue where he's at, and he's at the docks, and he's in pursuit. And he tells Batgirl that, and he's like, and she's like, "Oh, was that an invitation?" And Batman's like, "No." And I'm like, "Batman, why did you even tell her in the first place?" So, Batman, he's driving around the docks, and two RPGs hit him, basically destroying the Batmobile. And he gets out with like the ejection seat, and he's fighting the guys, even though he just got some like rebar or something stuck in his chest. So he pulled it out, and he's fighting these guys with his life. But in all honesty, I think he could have done it because at the end there was just two guys left firing at him, and then Batgirl comes in and saves him. I do think with how things were going, he could have handled it. And then it comes to the end where she's doing a one-on-one with Paris, and she's beating the ever-loving shit out of him until Batman comes, and she like stops herself because there was a conversation previously where he's telling her how she's not ready because there comes a point where he's at like the abyss where you're just like so close to going over the edge but you just can't, but you're like at this feeling of numbness, which is a really nice like way to talk about it. And then Batgirl, um, she like recognizes that she's like at the point of the abyss and she like backs off. And then it cuts to like the next day, Batman's meeting Barbara, and then she like gives all her stuff back. She's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I was at the abyss, and this is not for me. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how anybody could physically not go over the edge," which is good foreshadowing to what's to come. But yeah, she just retires. So that's the end of that point. The one thing I really would have fixed is this is Batman the Killing Joke. This more so focuses on the relationship between Batman and the Joker. So it would have made more sense if he. I hate to just like have him say it flat out, but if he would have say something like the lines of, "This guy is turning into your Joker. I don't want you to deal with what I have to deal with. This is an enemy that will get in your head and just make you rethink everything and push and push and push you. And I don't want that for you." Like, that should have been why he was like so protective with her because she made it think it was like a jealousy thing and he was protecting her for like sexual reason. It just it works so much better if Batman isn't protecting her from like that, but from like, "Hey, I'm protecting you from your version of the Joker." I think that would work so much better. I mean, he even had like kind of the personality of the Joker, like narcissistic sociopath. That's the Joker. Um, and he even had like kind of a Joker like build, like lanky and tall, but like a hell of a fighter. And charismatic too. Like if it really did feel like Barbara's Joker, and they really should have like gone more into that. Like I did not need the sex scene with Barbara and Bruce. It did nothing to the story. It added nothing. It just made me feel icky about it. Just I didn't like it. So anyway, on to meat and potatoes, the actual Killing Joke. So Batman having a talk with Barbara about being so close to over the edge. He's out on patrol one night, and they discover a secret room that's been closed off for like 3 years, and it was just recently found. And it was like this this group of dentists that were all strung up, and it was kind of like this makeshift comedy thing where they were like strapped to their seats, but they had like the creepy smiles that the Joker toxin gives off. So Batman, he's thinking about the Joker and the talk of the abyss. So he goes to the asylum with Gordon, and he has a talk. And it's one of the best monologues Batman ever has. And he's like, you know, sooner or later, one of us is going to kill the other. I might kill you. You might kill me. It might be soon. It might be later. But I need to be able to reach my hand out and give you one last chance before we go any further. But it turns out the Joker's not even the Joker. It's just some like guy that's dressed up as the Joker. And I'm like, God damn it, Arkham! Why can't you motherfuckers do your job? Like, how is there just some guy dressed as the Joker? Like, how do you get away with that? So at this time, the Joker, he's actually buying this rundown carnival, and I don't know how the fuck he got it, but he has his own strongman, fat woman, dog man, um, Siamese twin or conjoined twin, and some like bald midgets that are really really creepy. They drew them really terrifying. Like basically, aside from like the creepy midgets, just all like the stereotypical stuff you'd find at a circus. And I don't know like why they would agree to help out the Joker, but so he's he's buying the rundown circus. He killed the guy to get the deed. So a week later passed. Barbara, she's hanging out with her dad, and the Joker comes knocking, and he shoots her when she answers the door, just point blank right in the spine, crippling her for the rest of her life. Jim's there as well, and he witnesses the whole thing, but he's knocked out, can't even fight back. So Jim wakes up, and he's like tied naked, and the Joker, he puts him. This part's kind of funny. He puts him into a courtroom and gives him like the stereotypical judge wig, and there's like a lot of kangaroos in the courthouse, so it's kangaroo court. So he's having this like fake court scene where he's like asking Jim what he would do with the guy, and he like describes him, and it sounds like the Joker, but then it really turns out to be Batman, and he says, "Oh, just throw the book at him." So he's like, "Oh, haha, you said throw the book at Batman, haha, got you." Um, and then he does a musical number as well, and then he takes him on this ride with like the creepy little midget. They look like demented babies. I don't know what the hell they are. They don't look right. Like mutants or something. So they have a naked chained Jim Gordon tied up, and they open up his eyes, and all plastered around the ride are pictures of his naked daughter being shot, and like just helpless and crying, because the point of all this, Joker was trying to push Jim over the edge, like to prove that anybody can go crazy. So meanwhile, Batman, he's asking everybody left and right where the hell this guy could be. You find out, oh, usually when he gets out, he immediately goes to a strip club to get his rocks off, which I find that kind of funny. Like the first thing Joker does when he escapes is get laid. So eventually he gets called back with a bat signal, and it's like a letter to Batman with tickets to the circus. So Batman immediately gets there, and this is after Jim has seen everything and he's tied up. He has a fight with like all the circus people, and then it gets to the Joker fighting him, and then he goes to Jim, and then Jim, being the absolute alpha Chad that he is not broken, and he's like, I want you to get him, and I want you to get him by the book. And I'm like, God damn, that is some good character right there. Like, oh my god, the fact that Jim went through all of that, that is every single reason to just say the hell with it. I'm on a revenge tour now, but like for Jim to like keep himself in check and to hold his principles true, that's phenomenal. So Batman goes after the Joker. There's a fight with like the mutants in a mirror maze, and he finally gets to the Joker in like an upside down house, and there's a lot of good dialogue in between the two until the fight eventually comes outside and the Joker pulls a gun on him, but it turns out to be like one of the fake guns that shoots like a little thing that just says bang on it. So then the Joker is like, all right, come on, kick my ass already. Just get it over with. And Batman, he's like, listen, I need to know that I did my part to try and save this. Let me rehabilitate you. Maybe we can make each other better throughout this. Please, I don't want to go down this road. And Joker says, no, I can't do that. And then he tells Batman a funny joke, which I will admit is very funny. And he starts dying laughing. And then Batman, he starts dying laughing too. And then he gets like closer and closer to kind of like hug Joker, and they're both laughing together. But then it pans down, and you just hear Batman laughing, and then that's the end of the movie. So it's like, damn, he killed the Joker. Holy shit. And then there's an end credit scene where Barbara turns into Oracle, which is cute and fun. But man, I do love me some Killing Joke. That is one of, if not like the best Batman stories there is. I really do love the Killing Joke. Um, and then the setup, like the before part with like Paris and whatnot, it was so close to being so great, and then they screwed it up with like the sex, which was so unneeded. I literally just said, just make Paris her Joker, and that would have made it so much better. Like honestly, if they did that, that to me would have been a 7 out of 7 right there. But the fact that they did that, it really brings the movie to a grinding halt. Like I've seen this movie a couple times, and it takes me out every single time. I don't know why the hell they would do that. It just doesn't feel right. But that being said, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, they deliver such phenomenal work. Like the monologues they do and just their mannerisms. It's so good. Particularly Mark Hamill's. He's really good as the Joker. But yeah, rating wise, it's just that one thing that bugs me, but it's just such a big thing. It does drag it down for me. It's obviously not between a 4 to a 1, so I'm out of there. So I am kind of caught between a 5 to a 7. But there's just so much good stuff into it, like just so much good. So I think I will have to give it its flowers and give it a 6 out of 7. But man alive, does that sex thing just drag everything down? Hell, you could take it out and it would fit perfectly fine. I still think my version's better with like him being the other Joker, but it's whatever. But yeah, that's it. Tomorrow's Batman Beyond, so excited for that. Can't wait. So yeah, bye bye.